The weather is really nice now. The thermometer says it's 60, 61 degrees. And yeah, it's that time. Although I'm gonna take the donkeys for a walk first. They need it. I need it. And if walking is all we do, then I think we made the most of our time here. We got a no turn on red arrow here because of the streetcar tracks or whatever. And sometimes these lights are overly long. I joke that the song Kansas City Lights is actually about the traffic lights. But yeah, I think spring is well, officially it's here, but I think the weather is starting to moderate more. It's actually kind of doing this, and I've been looking at my archives, and I don't know how many times I've said that. So yeah, that means I'm observant. It's very pretty here. Let's see if we can find some good parking. Here's the spot. Alrighty then. The problem with this parking, I like it, but the problem is that getting into it is kind of laborious. Although I back in normally always. A lot of people don't back in very straight too. But I always back in anyway. But yeah, you always have the people waiting, and usually they're patient, but every so often you get the one or two who are not. But anyway, let's take our donkeys for a walk. Come on, dog. Woof, 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 woof. This is actually grilling weather. I always like to take the dogs for walks in different areas because it gives them what do they call that? Enrichment in their lives, but also helps train them. Oh, gotta get the streetcar. It helps train them how to behave in different situations. Right, Dongs? People always tell us our dogs are very well behaved. I think part of that is because we take them out everywhere. I don't have the camera for zooming, but look at that skyline in this light. I brought my walking camera. Farmers market. And the view towards the other direction. Yep. One of the prettiest views of the city. I think it's time for tea. Tea. Donkeys. Jimmy. Oh, that looks so good. Tea. nice evenings in the city. It's one of the reasons why spring is my favorite time of year. It's like the weather is, how would you say, moderate, which means that it's pleasant. You can enjoy life and take it easy and relax. And a lot of times, in the winter, there's some beautiful time in the winter. Each season has its ups, its downs. But when the weather is like this, life is much easier. Now, unfortunately, it's cycling because it's spring. It's still not quite over winter yet. It's like I'm not over my cold that I caught. When was that? Right before my birthday, I think, in March. I've had it March. Bronchitis. If it keeps up and I can't get rid of this cough, I'm going to have to talk to the doc again. Maybe get some medicine to clear up my chest. The coughing is old and everything. But, one of the kids' doctors, and I keep saying this, said one of the most intelligent things I've ever heard. And that is a very simple thing. Gratitude is happiness. If you're not grateful, you're not happy. Period. And so I am very, very grateful for this weather. It makes me very happy. I'm grateful for my dogs because many times before, when I was younger, I would go out in search of things and just not quite find them and end up just being very unsatisfied and unhappy, ungrateful. And part of it is you can't force people to come into your life or like you, and you may desire, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish I had this person in my life, I wish I had a girlfriend, I wish I had, all these things you think when you're younger, and then it's like, but you get all that stuff and you're never happy because, even if you get a girlfriend, you end up taking her for granted. I mean, it's just an eventual thing. You take everything for granted. That's the way we are in life, It's like it's there. It's always there, and then you kind of get, like the same meal every day, you kind of get used to it, and then it starts becoming bland to you, and then you forget that, how hard it was to be without that thing. All right, you're making the streetcar stop, and you're making me stop too. There's a lot of people from out of town still in this city for different things. And and I'm grateful for this city. It's a good place to live. And it's not always the best, but then where is? I was thinking about that today. It's like, we're walking around this River Market area, and there were some homeless, houseless vagrants. I don't know which category they would fall into. And one of them was staring at me intently, like he wanted something. Like he was about to get up, come over, and do Lord knows what. And I'm thinking, man, I don't have adequate protection. I don't have all I have is my phone and my dogs, and the dogs one would run and the other one would lick anybody to death. That's his weapon. And jump all over him, wag his tail, lick him to death, be all excited. But when you're walking around in exploring areas, sometimes you run into places that are not well guarded, and not very many people are around. And it could be if somebody has a malevolent nature about them, you could become a victim very easily. But you know, what can you really do about that? You just come up with a plan and hope that the plan works. One is to yell, one is to run, one is to call the police as quickly as you can, one is to defend yourself as best you can. And sometimes when you do that, you're just scary enough. You got to understand, sometimes a person trying to do something is just as scared of you as you are of them. And but you know, that's a last resort. And you know, I work at night a lot, and by myself a lot, and I'm very defensive. Unfortunately, you know, if I were to ever walk up to the pearly gates, I'm afraid it would be judged pretty heavily, because, you know, you're supposed to look at everyone as if they were you were walking up on Jesus, and I don't do that. I'm very defensive at night, and I'm, you know, if somebody comes up and knocks on my door window, which has happened quite a few times, I yell at them to get away, get away from my car, stop touching my car, get away from me. Because in the middle of the night is not a good time to do that. And I know that people are maybe hungry and cold and all these other things, but just not a great time. And I know way too often it's not about being hungry or cold. The reason for a lot of the hungry and coldness is a choice being made to pursue non-life affirming things. Let's just put it that way, and not be judgy about it. Just say this person has gotten into a very sorry situation in life, and the only thing I can really think to do that's helpful is to direct them to where they can get real help. Now, you know, I've gotten onto this track, and I've actually erased all these rants that I've done about this, or made it private. But the only thing you really can do that's very helpful is to direct people towards the real help they can get. And I know that sounds easy to do, but I kind of learned it from, you know, dealing with talking to people who help people on the streets. And it's kind of like the first thing they do is they give a sort of a test. Do you really want help? Do you really need help? Or are you wanting something else? And that something else is the real reason you're in this situation. And it's it's usually a very simple test. They tell them what they need to do to get help, and the person just says, no, I just want money, or something like that. And you know, when I was in Westport one time, there was these people that were helping street people, and the street person came up to him and said, hey man, you know, blah blah blah, and started talking to him, and he was talking to him back, and then the guy started in on his spiel. And the person that was helping the street people said, okay, this is what you need to do to get some help. And the guy said, no, I just want some money. Can you give me some money? And the guy said, well, you don't really want my help then. And that was that. And it's a very hard I don't know how to put it without sounding judgy. Obviously, it's an issue that affects me quite a lot, because I'm thinking about my safety at night when I'm alone by myself. And as much as I can, I keep myself in the car, unless I know I'm in a fairly safe area, which, where is that really? And I keep the doors locked and the windows rolled up, or, you know, in the summertime, sometimes I have the windows down. Usually I don't, because I'm listening to a scanner and road noise makes it hard to hear, which is not my MO. I'm usually a windows rolled down kind of guy when the weather's nice. But, well, anyway, I just end this by getting back to being grateful, having gratitude for my life, my situation, and my family, and all those things. If I can get across here, I think you could turn right here. This road construction is really something to deal with. Anyways, time to get where I'm going and get ready for a week. Woohoo!